Hey there, if you want to feel more energy, be in a better mood, get rid of brain fog, optimize your heart and brain health, spark regenerative healing, and optimize your immune system for longevity and to fight viruses, then you're definitely going to want to watch this video to the end. Because today I'm going to talk about the 7 foods and drinks that you can easily incorporate into your everyday life to naturally increase something called nitric oxide in your body. Ready? Let's go. The first food that produces nitric oxide in the body is beets. So let's first talk a little bit about nitric oxide, and I'm going to tell you about beets. Nitric oxide, which is sometimes abbreviated NO, no, it's a natural gas that's produced in the body, but it doesn't smell. And this is the gas that's produced by your cells in order to be able to send a signal from one cell to the other. It's a cellular signal is what nitric oxide does. In fact, it's called one of the body's most important signaling molecules for health. It's crucial for cardiovascular health, for example, but also really important for your immune system. You want a good, strong immunity. You want nitric oxide being made, all right? And it's also good for brain health as well. And that is because nitric oxide helps with blood flow. And my work is in the area of angiogenesis, which is how your body grows blood vessels. So I know a lot about nitric oxide and health. Now, NO, nitric oxide, tells your blood vessels to relax, chill out. Blood vessels widen. As the blood vessels dilate, this improves more blood coming through a larger blood vessel. And guess what this does? It improves oxygen delivery to your heart and your brain, as well as your muscles. By the way, this is also why nitric oxide is really important for erectile function. All right. You need more blood in the penis in order to have an erection. And guess what the medicines Viagra and Cialis do? Okay. They make your body produce more nitric oxide. You get dilation of blood vessels, more blood flow. And that's actually how you treat erectile dysfunction, or one of the ways you treat erectile dysfunction. So they help your body produce more nitric oxide as well. Now, there's something else that's cool and important that nitric oxide does. Nitric oxide is the signal in your body that calls out stem cells. Now, these stem cells are regenerative cells. They actually help us regenerate from the inside out. They repair your organs, they regenerate tissue, your liver, your skin, your hair, your gut. They're really, really important for helping you heal from the inside out, these stem cells. And guess what? Nitric oxide is the signal when it's made in your body to call out more stem cells. Better blood flow, better regeneration, better healing, the larger blood vessels, lower blood pressure, which, by the way, can help prevent heart attack and stroke. Very important, okay? And the nitric oxide that from foods that you eat can actually boost your immune system as well. Your immune system is very sensitive to nitric oxide. The more nitric oxide you have, the stronger your immune system. All right. So eating the foods that actually stimulate nitric oxide stimulates all these benefits in your body for your health. And by the way, when I was starting to study food as medicine, all right, one of the most amazing things I discovered was that eating certain foods could help your body regenerate. And most of those foods actually stimulate nitric oxide. And by the way, this is also important for athletes, because if you want to improve your muscle tone and your muscle performance, right, athletically, you need better blood flow. And after exercise, you need to rebuild the cells that get damaged from, the wear and tear of exercise. You want to repair yourself. So recovery is something that nitric oxide does as well. All right. And I do want to talk about the whole issue about nitric oxide and protecting you against infections, specifically viruses like the common cold and the flu. Not only does the immune system respond to nitric oxide, but it turns out that nitric oxide itself, all by itself, kills bacteria and viruses. So it's just having more ammo in your body when you actually have a lot of nitric oxide for all kinds of healthy functions. All right, so let's go back to my first food, beets. Now that you understand something about nitric oxide, beets are on the top of my list when I think about foods that are good for nitric oxide, because I like beets. Beets grow close to the ground, all right, and the soil is packed with nitrogen. All right. So the nitrogen gets into the beets. When you eat the beets and chew them really well, okay, guess what happens? It's quite amazing. The healthy bacteria on your tongue, all right, interacts with the beets and the nitrogen in the beets, and it converts the nitrogen from the soil that's in the beets into a form that when you swallow the beets, gets absorbed into your bloodstream as nitric oxide. So eating beets with the right tongue microbiome, swallowing it improves nitric oxide in your body. And how do we know this? Well, studies have shown that within 3 hours after eating beets or drinking beetroot juice, you can actually increase your nitric oxide levels in your blood by 21%. Within 3 hours, boom, you've upped your game on this. Dilates your blood vessels, gets more oxygen to your organs, protects your heart and your brain, helps to build muscle. And it's very, very important that it actually, you should know this, beets and nitric oxide have been shown to improve, in clinical studies, improve cognitive function as well, brain function. All right. So what do you say? I don't really like beets. I'm not a big fan of beets, but I want to get their benefit. What do? Well, this is what I tell people. If you want to get the benefit from beets from a nitric oxide perspective, blend it into the background. Add it to a blender when you're making a fruit smoothie, and it'll disappear instantly. All right. Add some berries, add some pineapples, make a tropical smoothie, add some beets to it. You won't taste the beets, but all the goodness will be in there. When you drink that smoothie, you'll actually get the benefits of the beets as well. The beet flavor just disappears right into the background. And by the way, in addition to the nitrogen from the beets, you'll get benefits from the polyphenols. The beets are red colored. Bright colors like that, intense colors usually signify polyphenols. So you got polyphenols from the beets, and you also get dietary fiber. Beets are also a good source of dietary fiber, good for gut health. All right. Now, if you're like me and you enjoy beets, one of the things that I like to do is to roast them in the oven, just on a baking sheet. All right. Roast them up, let them cool down, and then you can slice them up, cube them up if you like, and you can make a beet salad. All right. I like roast beets, crush some pistachios and sprinkle them on, add some spices like coriander and cumin, just a little bit. And if you eat dairy, not everybody eats dairy, but if you eat dairy and you want some probiotic benefits, you know what that beet dish goes well with? A little bit of goat cheese. All right. Now you've got yourself an amazing beet salad. And you'll see this, by the way, in like French recipes or for a beet salad. It's really great. Now, the other thing, obviously, you can just take your beets, your cooked beets, roast beets, slice them up and add them to a green salad. All right. That's another great way to have beets. What's another way? What about soup? Beet soup. You know what that's called? Borscht. Borscht is beet soup. It's a red soup, classic dish, classic soup in Slavic culture. All right. If you want to figure out how to make it, go online. Look up for a classic borscht recipe. It's Borscht, borscht, okay? Now, one more thing when you're buying beets. Now, sometimes you'll buy beets and it's just really the root of the beet itself. But if you go to a farmer's market, oftentimes you'll see the beet along with the greens, all right, like a carrot. It's got the tops on it. That's what you usually get with the green tops. Don't throw the green tops away. Cut them up. They've got their own polyphenols that are good for your health. Saute them like a warm veggie dish, and beet greens are delicious. Or you can actually add them to a green shake. Beet greens packed with vitamin C. These are also really, really good ways to actually amp up your immune system, because vitamin C helps to ramp up your immune system, protect you against viruses as well. Again, think about the beets. Nitric oxide directly kills bacteria and viruses. Now you're actually having the greens and a shake, and now you're really revving up your immune system. Oh, and by the way, beet greens also contain some bioactives that are good for protecting your eyesight as well. The benefits come from bioactives like vitamin A, which is found in beet greens, lutein, and zeaxanthin. Okay, these are bioactives that definitely help keep the retina of your eyes healthy. The retina is like this carpet of nerves in the back of your eye. You know, like if light comes in from the front, it goes into the back of the eye, lights up the retina then sends a signal to your brain. You want to keep that carpet layer of nerves super healthy. beet greens contain the bioactives that can help do that. All right. So definitely want to keep your vision healthy. If you want longevity, live long, you want to have good vision, because it would really stink if you lived to a super ripe old age, but you couldn't see anything. All right. And by the way, the most common causes of vision loss as we get older is something called age-related macular degeneration. And you know how bad that is? I'm like grandma going blind, they say, it's because she's getting old. No, it's usually macular degeneration. And the unfortunate part about this condition, AMD, age-related macular degeneration, is that when it happens, blood vessels grow, they leak, all right? And then what happens is that they happen to do it right in the most sensitive place where you get central vision, right? So then you can't see in the middle. It's like this, all right? Look at that. That you can't see anything, all right? So you can only see around the side. You can't see right in the middle. So you can prevent that by eating beet greens that contain lutein and zeaxanthin, good for your retina. All right, ready for the next nitric oxide beneficial food? Food number 2 for nitric oxide is garlic, all right? Garlic is like a central element for cooking, all right? If you watch cooking videos, most people are out there cooking garlic. It is a core ingredient for Mediterranean recipes and Asian recipes. 2 of the healthiest cuisines in the world often use garlic. Now, why is garlic so good? Besides making other foods taste good, like it flavors the food, garlic helps to activate an enzyme in the body called nitric oxide synthase. It activates this enzyme. It triggers it so it's working better. Nitric oxide synthase. And synthase, it's actually synthesizing nitric oxide. So yeah, garlic triggers your body to make more nitric oxide from amino acids. Now your body's packed with amino acids, but every time you eat protein, whether it's from a plant or from an animal, it reloads your body with more amino acids. And guess what? When you eat garlic, that triggers your nitric oxide synthase. This enzyme takes those amino acids and it makes more nitric oxide. Now here's something interesting. Turns out that aged garlic does this better than fresh raw garlic. Now most of the time when I'm cooking, I'm just using some cloves of regular fresh garlic. You know, you get a big bunch of garlic cloves held together. That's what I normally use. But there is something called aged garlic, and you need to know about this, because the next time you're in a grocery store, go ask somebody where do they actually sell aged garlic. Sometimes it's called black garlic, and the reason it's called black garlic is that it's garlic that's naturally aged for weeks under low heat, high humidity, and those conditions will actually turn the color of the garlic black, right? The outside of it is kind of whitish, but the meat of the garlic, which is usually tan or yellowish, that'll turn black. And this natural kind of fermentation of garlic makes the garlic sweet instead of pungent, all right? Regular raw garlic, very pungent, delicious to cook with, not really sweet. Aging garlic or turning garlic black will make it sweet. And guess what? Black garlic is amazing for flavoring soups and stews and for cooking. So if you've never tried to cook with black garlic and you want to get the benefits of actually creating nitric oxide in your body, try getting some black garlic. I don't recommend making it yourself. It's a lot of trouble to make, but have it pre-made. Okay, I mean, it comes. Somebody else has actually done the low heat aging of it, and it'll make your food taste sophisticated, and it gives it a nice, rich flavor. Now, you could, of course, buy black garlic supplements, all right? You can find that online, but I suggest you get the food version because it is delicious, all right? You can take almost any dish that you're going to cook, any savory dish in your kitchen, all right? Any recipe, whether it's vegetables, chicken, soups, stews, whatever it is, you can make it taste even better with a little bit of black garlic, all right? Now, this aged garlic, as I said, increases nitric oxide in your blood, all right, NO. And when the nitric oxide does what? It causes your blood vessels to dilate. It lowers your blood pressure, all right, which is really beneficial for heart health. And aged garlic also can lower your blood cholesterol, okay? Your bad LDL cholesterol, all right? That's the kind that sticks to the walls of your arteries to narrow your arteries. Guess what? Black garlic can actually help to lower that. And there's even one more benefit of garlic, both fresh and aged, contains a bioactive called allicin, Allicin. And guess what? Allicin boosts your immune system and helps your body defend against viruses and bacteria as well. All right. So garlic, great for nitric oxide, great for which then kills viruses. Garlic also has allicin, which boosts your immune system, which then is helpful for protecting you against infection. Now, the best way to get allicin out of garlic, fresh garlic cloves, you know what? Because it's actually locked into the clove, chop it up, okay? Or crush the garlic. Hey, this is what the recipes call for. And this is exactly how it's used in Mediterranean and Asian cooking. You got to chop up the garlic before you cook with it. And that actually gets that allicin out, that natural bioactive that can actually help to boost your immune system and to kill viruses. Now, here's a little practical tip. If you're cooking with garlic, you got to peel that white skin, the papery skin off of each clove. Can be a little annoying, right? Like you got to take a sharp knife, you got to cut off the top and then cut along the side and peel it off with your hand. How can you do it quickly? I'll tell you, I'll give you a little trick. This is like a chef's trick. You got a cutting board, put the whole clove or a bunch of cloves on a cutting board and take the flat blade of a knife, smash it right down, okay? Hit it with your palm, smack it down. You're going to crush the garlic. The whole clove will smash open and the skin will split and it'll basically come right off. And now you can just pull the skin off and you got the whole pieces of garlic right there. Super easy. No kind of doing microsurgery on the garlic. And then with those crushed mashed bits, just chop them up. All right. Or just throw them right into the pan to start sauteing or cooking with them. Ready for food number 3? Food number 3 is one of my favorites, dark chocolate. Now, pretty much everyone knows that I like chocolate. I talk about it all the time. And I also talk about how dark chocolate is heart healthy. By the way, what do I mean by dark chocolate? All right. Chocolate is a confection. It's a candy. It's made, by artisans or in a factory. So I want to put that out there right up front. All right. Chocolate is a candy. All right. It's a confection. And chocolate's got all kinds of stuff added to it, sugar and other ingredients. You want to stay away from the chocolates that are made with unhealthy ingredients. But if you get dark chocolate, okay, what makes chocolate heart healthy and nitric oxide creating is a plant-based material called cacao. Cacao is plant-based. It's a seed pod that comes from a tree, all right? And that's where the cacao comes from, plant-based food that is used to make chocolate. Now, you want more of that plant-based stuff that is packed with polyphenols like proanthocyanidins. You want more of that? Well, you got to get darker chocolate because dark chocolate has higher percentage of cacao, which is a plant-based stuff that has those polyphenols, all right? And the proanthocyanidins, guess what? That polyphenol helps your body produce, you guessed it, nitric oxide. So dark chocolate actually helps you produce nitric oxide, and dark chocolate, because it produces nitric oxide, also calls out more stem cells in your bloodstream to help you regenerate from the inside out, all right? And by the way, now you're having more nitric oxide, your blood vessels are relaxing and widening, you're getting more blood flow to your brain and to other organs, and you're also lowering your blood pressure, which protects you against heart attack and protects you against stroke, all right? And then, of course, the stem cells that are running around repair and regenerate your body from the inside out. And this has been studied in more than a dozen clinical trials of people with high blood pressure to see if chocolate actually works. It turns out that eating chocolate can reduce both the systolic blood pressure, that's the first top number in the blood pressure, as well as the bottom, the diastolic blood pressure, significantly. All right. And by the way, these clinical studies were conducted over a wide range of time, from 2 weeks of eating chocolate to 18 weeks of eating chocolate. No matter how long you eat the chocolate, actually all get the same type of benefit. Lowers blood pressure, dilates blood vessels, delivers stem cells to your organs for healing. So even eating dark chocolate for 2 weeks, it's got some benefits as well. All right. Now, here's what I do. When I'm buying dark chocolate, I look for 80% or higher chocolate. All right. That's when you get to the 80% level, chocolate's a little bitter. I don't mind that at all. Bitter is better, when it comes to health. But I know that it's got 80% of the cacao, which is loaded with those proanthocyanidins. Now, because the chocolate can be a little bitter, I'll tell you how I like to have that dark, super dark chocolate. I like to have a piece of it, okay, not a whole bar, a piece of it with my coffee, which I take black, right? So now you have dark chocolate, black coffee. I can sometimes throw it right into the coffee, or if you got powder, dark chocolate powder, you can mix it right into the coffee. What is chocolate plus coffee? Mocha, double health, right? Because coffee is also good for your health. Coffee actually is good for your stem cells as well. Coffee protects your blood vessels against inflammation. So you get the dark chocolate with the nitric oxide, you get the coffee, the chlorogenic acid, protects your blood vessels. Put them together, you got something that's pretty easy to eat, and they work together, and something that's actually good for your overall heart health. Now, always check the ingredient label when you're buying dark chocolate. Make sure that there aren't any additives or artificial chemicals that you don't feel comfortable putting inside your body, all right? You don't want to damage your gut microbiome with those additives. That's the healthy bacteria that helps you fight inflammation, helps your body create immune health so you can fight those viruses. So you don't want to be poisoning your healthy bacteria as well, okay? Now, another way to actually have dark chocolate is just add pieces of it to a homemade trail mix. Just go get the bulk section to get some raw tree nuts, toast them yourself, either in a toaster oven or in a cookie sheet, almonds, pecans, cashews, walnuts, all the above. All right. Cool them off. All right. Add some dark chocolate bits to it. Add some dried cranberries, dried blueberries, dried cherries. Mix them all together, and you've got yourself a terrifically healthy snack. All right. That's a good way to satisfy a craving for something sweet, but not too sweet. And you get a hit of dark chocolate as well. So I talked about dark chocolate and coffee. Now here's dark chocolate in trail mix. Are you ready for food number 4? Pomegranate. Now, I love pomegranates. You probably heard me talk about them before. Pomegranates, if you haven't seen one, it's a kind of a round, a little bit bigger than an apple, really heavy. It's about the size of a softball, actually. Thick red skin. And they're loaded with hundreds of ruby red seeds. And each seed has a little packet of juice around them. Actually, quite an amazing product of Mother Nature. And you've probably had a salad with some pomegranate seeds sprinkled on top of it. When you eat the seed, you can eat the whole thing, by the way. But when you're eating something with the seed, when you bite down, you get a little burst of this sweet juice. Guess what? That sweet juice, that pomegranate juice, is packed, loaded with polyphenols. And the one that I've been studying, the polyphenol I've been studying, is called elagitannins. Don't worry about memorizing these fancy chemical names. Just trust that people like me who are doing the research, we know what they are. We can pronounce them, all right? But in pomegranate juice are these elagitannins, and these elagitannins and pomegranates can do a lot of good things when it comes to your health defenses. Number 1, elagitannins improves your circulation, right? In fact, it can even cut off the blood supply to starve a cancer. Elagitannins can also help recruit your stem cells to come out, all right? Regenerate your organs, good for gut health, all right, and immune health. And elagitannins also help to grow a very specific gut bacteria, healthy gut bacteria called Akkermansia muciniphila. Akkermansia muciniphila. Now, this bacteria is important for blood glucose regulation, so you actually have better metabolism from it. It also helps your immune system destroy cancer cells, all right? These are things that pomegranate juice can actually do, or the juice around pomegranate seeds. Other thing it does, and that's the point I'm having in this video, is that pomegranate juice and elagitannins can help keep up your body's production of nitric oxide. And the way it does it is preventing whatever your body's making in terms of nitric oxide. It protects it and prevents it from being broken down, right? So, things are generated and they're broken down, they're made and they're destroyed. Pomegranate juice actually keeps the nitric oxide level higher, all right? Now, why do nitric oxide levels go down in the body? Well, there's something called free radicals, and these are destructive chemicals that can be produced in your body, or you could breathe them in, or you can eat them, all right, drink them. They can cause your body, nitric oxide is very sensitive to these. These free radicals are destructive chemicals that are kind of like a machete. It just cuts apart the nitric oxide and cuts it into pieces. Our environmental exposures, smoke, smog, chemicals you might breathe, including like barbecue fumes, artificial chemicals that are found in ultra processed foods, fried foods. All these things can add free radicals in your body. These free radicals, again, are like little guys with machetes, okay, like little terrorists with machetes, and they chop up the nitric oxide so your level goes down. Pomegranates protect the nitric oxide against the machete. All right. So that is actually something that is really, really good to protect your own body's nitric oxide, your own store of it. All right. So remember, different ways to actually get nitric oxide. Remember, beets add nitrogen into your system, so you can increase the nitric oxide by eating it. Remember, garlic activates the enzyme that makes more nitric oxide from amino acids. So you can eat more nitrogen and that turns into nitric oxide. You can trigger the enzyme that makes more nitric oxide. And now I'm telling you that pomegranates can protect the nitric oxide that's actually made, right? So think about it. These are different strategies of actually how to keep up those nitric oxide levels in your body, at least 3 different ways. All right. Now, how do we know that pomegranate actually works? Well, it's been studied clinically. So researchers at the Shahid Basheti University of Medical Sciences in Iran, they actually recruited 60 people who had diabetes, and they gave them a glass of pomegranate juice to drink every single day for 6 weeks. And then what they did is compared the blood pressure of those people who drank the pomegranate juice to another group who didn't receive any pomegranate juice at all. And guess what? The pomegranate juice drinkers had significantly lower blood pressure over that period of time due to the blood vessels responding to nitric oxide, stimulated by the nitric oxide, relax the blood vessel, blood pressure comes down. And that's actually something that's really, really beneficial for nitric oxide and blood pressure lowering, which is good for heart health and brain health. So I got to tell you one thing when it comes to pomegranate juice. It is super sweet. All right. One of the sweetest fruit juices there is. So you don't want to drink too much of it. So if you're going to actually wanting to benefit from the nitric oxide benefit of pomegranate juice, I wouldn't drink more than 1 cup. That's 8 fluid ounces in order to get the benefits. That's been studied. That amount will actually help grow your akkermansia, which is good for your metabolism and good for your so many other aspects. Protects you, gets your immune system going to protect you against cancer cells. But make sure that you don't drink too much of it. And if you're shopping for pomegranate juice, all right, make sure you're just getting 100% pure pomegranate juice, not other fruit juices that have a little squirt of pomegranate in it and a whole bunch of artificial colors and flavors and sugar to make it taste like pure pomegranate juice. Get the whole test, authentic 100% pomegranate juice. And then you don't need to drink very much of it a day. Again, 1 fluid cup is enough to actually get that nitric oxide and all the other benefits, gut health benefits of pomegranate juice. All right. And whatever you do, don't add more sugar to your system. So you want to get pomegranate juice. It's super sweet enough. Here's another pro tip. If you're actually buying the whole pomegranate to just get the juice right from the seeds, which is the way that I think is really good to do it as well. When you're buying a pomegranate, how do you know when it's ripe and ready to eat? Well, look for fruit that is heavy. It should really feel heavy in the palm of your hand. And even though this thing is shaped like an apple, when the pomegranate starts to ripen and the seeds are really juicy, the shape of this sphere is going to turn a little bit more squarish with angular sides. So look for one that's actually kind of like a weird shaped pomegranate. That's the one that you know is going to have the good seeds when it's actually heavy. And look for the color of the skin. The really ripe ones are kind of like ruby red, no green spots on it. All right. And if you take a pomegranate home that's really not quite ripe, just let them sit out in the kitchen counter for a few days at room temperature, and you'll see the skin get darker in color as the seeds actually ripen. All right, food number 5, tea, both black tea and green tea. Now, you know that green tea is good for you. It contains polyphenols called catechins. Now, these catechins trigger your cells to make more nitric oxide. So green tea helps to produce nitric oxide. Now, black tea doesn't have as many catechins, but they do have a bioactive that's called theaflavin. Theaflavin, actually, in black tea, actually is more potent than what's in green tea when it comes to making nitric oxide. So definitely enjoy green tea. It's so good for you in so many ways. Good for vascular health, good for metabolic health. But I want to tell you, don't be afraid to try or enjoy black tea, English breakfast tea, Earl Grey tea, Chinese fermented black tea. No problem. It's good for you. All right. You're going to get a little nice hit of nitric oxide produced whenever you're drinking tea. And that's one of the reasons why tea is so good for your circulation and overall cardiovascular health. Nitric oxide dilates the blood vessels and the blood pressure will come right down and you get better blood flow, more oxygen to all of your organs. Plus, those stem cells that come out to repair you and regenerate you from the inside out. Okay. Now, I'm going to do a little myth busting here. Some people say that drinking tea is going to cause you to be dehydrated because of the caffeine, right? You've probably heard of that. I used to think that true as well. Not true at all. Even though green tea does contain caffeine, studies have shown that if you drink less than 10 cups of tea a day, and that's a heck of a lot of tea, if you stay under 10 cups, you're not going to get dehydrated because the tea itself actually has water. So you're hydrating yourself with tea. All right. So no need to fear green tea is going to dry you out. Now, I like to use loose leaf green tea or black tea. That's how I grew up drinking tea. And by the way, loose leaf tea means no tea bags. It's a little bit less expensive. It doesn't need fancy packaging. Cut the middleman of the bagger out of it. All right. Now, the other thing is that tea bags often contain microplastics that get into your teacup as well. So one way to dodge the microplastics is just to get loose leaf tea. You can put it into a tea ball, or you can just dump the tea leaves into a mug, add hot water, let the tea leaves steep. Okay, they're going to drop to the bottom, and they're going to start releasing all of their polyphenols and that lovely tea flavor. All right. And then when you actually are finished drinking, you're just sipping from the top. You can actually pour more water into it. You can probably reload a mug of tea 3 times and still continue to get polyphenols out of it. Now, if you want something that's much more potent, try matcha. Matcha is the entire tea leaf ground from green tea, ground into a powder. Now you're getting all the catechins, all the polyphenols, and you're getting all the dietary fiber as well, which is good for your gut health. All right. So remember, tea is good, green or black. All right. They actually help produce nitric oxide.
Hey there. I have a valuable resource that you won't want to miss. It's all about the 5 signs that your legs and your feet may be warning you about poor health. Your legs and feet can give you important clues about your overall health, especially when it comes to your circulation. If you want to learn more about these warning signs and how to take action, click on the link below the video to access this essential information. Or you can access the guide by scanning the QR code on the screen right now. Now, let's get back to the video.
What is my next one? My next food for nitric oxide are, number 6, leafy greens. We all know leafy greens are supposed to be good for us. Let's get specific about this, all right? What are the greens in the grocery produce section that can help your body produce nitric oxide? Well, I told you about beet greens, all right? But other leafy greens actually contain nitrates from the soil, just like the beets, and they will actually, when you swallow them, they get converted into nitric oxide. So what are they? Here are some of the greens in rank of potency for helping your body produce nitric oxide because they've got a lot of nitrogen in them. First up, arugula, all right, sometimes called rocket, has the most nitrate from the soil. The amount is 420 milligrams per 100 gram of arugula leaf. That's a lot. All right. So arugula, which have arugula salad, for example, that's an amazing way of actually getting nitric oxide in your body. Another one, second one up, bok choy. All right. Asian vegetable, super delicious, really easy to cook. All right. 325 milligrams per 100 milligrams of plant of nitrogen. Next, rhubarb, 294 milligrams of nitrogen per 100 grams of the rhubarb. That's way up there, okay? Next, lettuce, the humble lettuce leaf, green lettuce leaf, loaded with healthy nitrates so that your body can turn them into nitric oxide. How much does lettuce have? 205 milligrams per 100 milligram, all right? About half of what arugula has, but it's still pretty substantial. And then it's followed by spinach and zucchini and green beans. All right. So the top 4 leafy green vegetables for nitrogen, for nitric oxide producing in your body are number 1, arugula, number 2, bok choy, number 3, rhubarb, and number 4, lettuce, green lettuce. All right. But you got to remember, these green vegetables do a lot more than nitric oxide. They've got dietary fiber that's good for gut health and immune health. All right. And although, we're all supposed to eat salads, and, I eat salads too, I personally prefer cooked greens. So I'm going to tell you, of those high nitric oxide performers, one of my favorites is bok choy. You know why? Bok choy, super quick to make, very tasty. Here's what I do. I buy some baby bok choy. You slice off the bottom, kind of like the root part of it, and the leaves come right off. Wash those leaves really, really well. Sometimes dirt can hide inside the middle of the leaves. Just wash them. 60 seconds under cold running water. Sing happy birthday to the leaves, and you're done with clean leaves. Drain them, shake them off. All right, take a couple of cloves of garlic. All right, you can chop them up if you want. I like to cook bok choy in a wok. Add a little oil, add the garlic, season the oil. All right, and now when the oil is fragrant from the garlic, you might want to even remove the garlic so it doesn't burn. Add those leaves of the baby bok choy and stir fry them. Literally 30 seconds, maybe 60 seconds, you're done. Add a little vegetable stock. All right. I like to put in a touch of rice wine, a little drizzle of soy sauce, and then turn off the heat. You're done already. Now take a bottle of oyster sauce. Oysters contain other really health benefiting polyphenols for immune system. Shake some oyster sauce into that mixture. Turn the leaves around a little bit. Boom, you are done. And you've got an amazing, in minutes, you've made a sauteed bok choy with oyster sauce. So tasty that for me, that could be a meal in and of itself. That's it. All right. And it's second up for the highest amounts of nitric oxide in vegetables. All right. Okay, my last food, number 7 for this video. Nitric oxide generating foods. Can you guess what it is? Watermelon. All right. Now, I love watermelon. It's obviously a summer fruit. Sweet, juicy, great for a hot day, great for hydration. Here's something you might not know. Watermelon contains an amino acid that's called L-citrulline. L as in Larry, citrulline, Citrullline. So when you eat watermelon, which contains citrulline, your body turns it into arginine. And it turns out that arginine is a natural chemical that the body uses to make nitric oxide. So watermelon actually pulls the trigger and contains an ingredient that your body uses to create more nitric oxide. Pretty amazing, right? Now, here's the thing. You'll get some in the flesh of the watermelon, but a lot of the L-citrulline is actually found in the rind, the white part. Most people don't eat the white part, right? But maybe I want to eat the watermelon right down to the rind. All right, I don't want you to eat the hard green part at the very end, but go ahead and eat the rind. That's where the citrulline is. And a clinical study conducted by researchers at the University of Exeter in the United Kingdom looked at watermelon juice that includes a rind. All right, so you can make a watermelon juice. You juice the red pulp, delicious. Cut off that hard green part, toss the rest of the rind in there, grind it all up. That's where the citrulline is, okay? And they studied this in people with one group that got the watermelon juice, other group just got some apple juice. Apple juice doesn't contain the citrulline, all right? And then they compared which one's better, and they actually measured in the bloodstream. The watermelon drinkers had 4 times higher levels of L-citrulline in the blood. Now, the healthy body has a little bit. The watermelon drinkers had 4 times, all right? And they found that more oxygen was delivered to the muscle of the people who drank watermelon juice, right? But wait, you might say, what about that watermelon rind? What should I do with it? How do I use it besides in making a drink or juicing it? Well, it turns out there are some really cool, delicious ways to use watermelon rind. It's not common, like in most parts of the world, but there are certain parts of the world who love to use watermelon rind. You can pickle the watermelon rind, make it into a pickle, or you can saute it with spices, all right, and use it part of a stir fry. And you're like, wow, I never even thought about watermelon rind. Look it up, Google it. watermelon rind saute, and you'll see you can actually cook with it. You can cook with melon, right? You can cook with different kinds of saute different kinds of melon. You can saute watermelon rind as well. All right, and then of course we talked about juicing it. Now, if you juice it or grind it down, besides making a beverage out of it, here's another example where you can easily put watermelon rind in. How about a watermelon gazpacho? That is a cold soup, all right, made with watermelon. That's amazing, all right. Once you include the rind to gazpacho with watermelon, now you've made a nitric oxide bomb. Great for heart health, blood vessel health, good for brain health, good for immune health, fighting viruses with the viral killing properties of nitric oxide itself. Plus, it's kind of a fun thing to actually make for if you're having company over. Make some watermelon gazpacho. All right. I hope you've learned something new today. Thanks very much for watching. And if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to hit subscribe to get more. And meanwhile, I will see you on the next video. Dr. Lee out.
Hi there. If you enjoyed watching this video, I know you'll love the next one. Stay here and check it out. And I'll see you there.